Hello, this is Turbodog702. It's a submission for Castlevania Judgment Story Mode with cutscenes. Right now we're going to be seeing the Maria run for this. This is mainly just kind of a funny comedy type of submission, not meant to be taken as like a super serious speedrun in any capacity. Judgment is a fighting game for the Wii, and the story mode has a variety of cutscenes that are kind of silly or funny or have poor voice acting, so I'll kind of shut up when we get to the points where that stuff comes up so you guys can enjoy. Basic concept is you have a normal attack, a jump, special or a sub-weapon button if you have it, and kind of a special button, which is like a special modifier. You also have a block, a roll, and a block breaker. Block breaker you're not really going to be seeing inside of this, but it does have a couple of applications here and there. As with many fighting games, the basis of this is just manipulating the AI to be able to finish things off as soon as possible. This is hedging a little bit more towards RTA. If we were doing in-game time, like is tracked most often on the boards, we'd be using more supers.
Right on time. Welcome to the Time Rift.
Who are you, mister? What's a time rift?
This is where you'll find what you desire. But first, there are many trials you must pass.
What? I get a present? Okay, I'll take your test.
My name is Aeon. Shall we begin the first trial?
So Maria is kind of the goofball of the three characters that I'm going to be showing. So one of her best moves is her neutral BBB, her neutral attacks, into her special attack, into her charged special attack in the air. So her normal special attack is the flame wheel, and her charged special attack in the air is the tidal wave. We use the forward B there, which is kind of the bicycle kick, as a way to catch up to enemies or to do the last bit of damage. There is a super meter that you can use. Supers are quite quick, and they do over 50% damage, but they can be difficult to hit because they don't have invincibility frames. So as I was mentioning, if you do hit with supers, the minute that you connect with a super, time stops in-game. However, again, since we're doing this RTA, we're using super sparingly, mostly just to take care of problematic enemies. This is also more hedged towards a marathon style of route. So Cornell's a little bit dangerous in that even though he has short range, his normal attack is quite quick, so he could beat us to the punch here at the beginning of the round. Luckily, we got a nice hit there. The other rough thing about Cornell is if he decides to use his dodge is similar to a teleport, so he can just immediately get out of range and run away a ton. Luckily, that was not what happened there, which is kind of nice. So you'll notice that we don't start with a sub-weapon. We will pick one up a little bit later. Usually we want to try to pick one up inside of the monster arena. If we do see one in the story battle, we'll try and grab it though. Sub-weapons are randomized when you pick them up. So you don't even know what you're going to pick up when you go for it. Ideally, we're looking for either the Holy Water to facilitate certain juggle combos, the Cross to apply pressure, or maybe a couple of other ones. Trevor's another rough fight in that he's another character with short range, but he has a very fast neutral B that can beat you out. It is possible to break guard inside of this game, which is why you'll see me sometimes going for stuff. I opt for the super at the end here because even though I could potentially do enough damage to kill with a normal combo, Trevor is a character that can give you lots of trouble, and once he gets rolling, he could cost you quite a bit of time. So I'd rather just blow the super to get him out of there. In real dedicated runs of this game for like arcade mode, you'd be resetting pretty aggressively whenever a computer blocks or something doesn't go just perfectly. But again, since this is story mode with cutscenes and it's meant to be just kind of a fun little thing to show off, we're willing to take a little bit of time loss here or there.
Why? We've no cause to fight.
Maybe you don't, but I sure do.
So Shinoa, another kind of rough fight. Her dodge allows her to run very fast and is invincible throughout. In addition to that, she has a couple of pretty quick moves and nice ranged options that can be kind of difficult. Her AI also tends to swing pretty erratically, so it can be difficult to control her, which is why, again, I opt for the super here. So one of the difficulties about routing with Maria is the fact that you are so open to counterattack if one of your strings gets blocked. Also, the third hit of her neutral B, there's a gap between her second and third hit that a fast attack can get in between and really mess up your rhythm. Normally you would want to have a combo that continues to allow the enemy to keep standing. That way you could continue to combo them, because any time spent on the floor is time spent not causing damage. This game does have the ability to ring out as well, but ring outs are relatively rare in most stages. Eric's another enemy where if he gets going like this, he can cost you quite a bit of time. And luckily I was able to kind of get control of him because he tunnel visioned the sub-weapon inside of the barrel there. Another rough thing about the Maria run in particular is that Maria will randomly get dizzy from using her moves, or mess up and kind of crash. There seems to be no pattern with this. It just kind of happens, and if that happens, then you can lose out on a fair amount of time, you can lose out on pressure, you can lose out on the last bit of damage that would kill. So you just kind of gotta hope that that doesn't happen too often. Should be noted also that these splits are for kind of every character inside of story mode. So that's not really a dedicated split for Maria herself. Each character has different story battles where they could say more or say less, so that can affect time. Just different fights have different times as well. So this is the monster arena. In this case we're fighting mermen. The other option is you fight zombies. Maria does a pretty decent job with this just because her flame spin can very oftentimes kill enemies on a single spin. There you saw that dizzy I was referring to. And at the end of this you'll fight a large guy, either a golem or a minotaur or cyclops. So I accidentally missed the roll timing there, like a good Souls boy. But the bicycle kick into the air attack is quite strong for dealing damage in this type of, for lack of a better term, PvE situation. Now the nice hilarity of Maria.
Are you a vampire hunter?
I am. If you're here, you must be one as well.
Uh-huh. They're huge.
Will you stop? These things only get in the way.
How can you say that? Those are a sacred gift.
Maria story, everybody. So this is one of the stages where a potential ring out is possible since it's fairly small. However, since she moved forward towards the center, I didn't have an opportunity to do so, so we're just going to do the normal strategy here. You do get less meter when an opponent blocks your attacks, so if you get an unfortunate string of blocks, it's possible that you don't even gain access to your super in a reasonable time span. So a lot of these stages would normally have stage hazards. For example, in this one, there's poison to the bottom of the stage, but these things are also spike traps, and normally there's a scythe. The reason they're disabled is this is on easy setting, and with a reduced round time. There's only one round to win, and putting it on easy makes it so that enemies have less health. So we significantly speed up the process of doing this run, even on really rough attempts. So it's fairly marathon safe. An enemy could just go completely nuts, but that's alright. That was a use of Guardian Knuckle, so I wasn't comfortable with Golem's positioning, and as you can see, if he starts swinging, he can kind of just stutter his attacks and stop you for a long time. Guardian Knuckle is Maria's unblockable, and one of the advantages is it protects her because it summons kind of like a ghost that punches, and the ghost waits to start punching, so even if the enemy starts attacking you, they could sometimes get broken out of their combo by a hit from the ghost, and allows you to facilitate offense again.
Please, everyone, give me your strength.
You ain't seen one quick
So,
as me before.
Grant can be kind of an annoying fight. He has a couple of really fast moves, but more annoying is that a lot of his moves tend to send him across the screen or far backwards, and you have to chase him down as a result. There I'm using the cross that I picked up earlier inside the monster arena to help facilitate pressure, like I mentioned. There I tried to use a cross and then pick up into a juggle, and unfortunately I just missed the timing.
A little bit? Oh my god! Vampire!
Why, hello, sweetie pie. You'll make a nice little appetizer.
Even the vampires are bigger than mine!
What are you babbling about?
No way am I losing to you!
So even though Carmilla is short range, she isn't super fast on her attacks, but once again, she's like Grant, where a lot of her moves will slide her across the screen, so you do have to be wary of that. So Judgment is actually an okay fighting game for mechanics. It's unfortunate that you don't really get to see a lot of it here. I've often posed the question, though, that even if it's an okay fighting game, is okay good enough when you have, you know, a fighting game world of 4 out of 5s and 5 out of 5s, and that's really up to the person himself to decide. So we're going to be fighting Aeon as the final boss. The Clockwork Greers, you do have a chance in order to get a ring out here, but
Right on time.
different positioning could cause weird stuff to happen. I actually get very fortunate here,
I wonder if my wish has been
because I kind of force him to ring himself out as a result of me moving certain
You
ways.
should realize your faith in
The
a
final guy is going to be the Time Reaper, which is again kind of a PvE encounter, but I'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, well, maybe.
There is still a great enemy that must be defeated. The door to that foe is already open.
An evil villain? Then I'll help you fight!
Which leads to our final dilemma. The door will allow only a single being to enter.
So you're saying we fight and only the winner goes on?
That is my desire.
Ready? Fight!
I'm over here.
So once again, just trying to pressure Aeon as best I can. And funny enough, because of how I was pushing him during that aerial phase, he tried to jump attack and ended up pushing himself out of bounds, which is pretty funny. So Time Reaper has a set pattern. Once you reach him to certain life thresholds, he will break the pattern to do certain special moves. So I need to attack in a relatively methodical way to guarantee that I'm not taking too much damage during this fight.
Yakko, Suzaku, Genbu, Seiryu, give me your strength!
And it's really a matter of kind of determining what your character's best options are for DPSing the boss down. Unfortunately, supers do not work on the boss. On the upside, there are certain characters that can use their super meter for special attacks, and that can be helpful against him. People like Grant and Shinoa, Golem. These characters get a decent amount of options due to their meter. But Maria is kind of best suited to using her bicycle kick, and then maybe you throw in a flame circle here and there. So I am taking it a little bit careful there to dodge through the laser. But that's the Time Reaper. So that's Castlevania Judgment, a story mode with cutscenes for Maria. We'll be going ahead and doing a couple more of these with other characters, but just thought I'd show off kind of one of the sillier ones inside of this. It's a relatively good fit for a comedy-based thing. Options include doing a character bid war with other characters, and the optional incentive of doing something like an arcade mode, where I'd be using a single character to complete the game as quickly as possible. Those run roughly between 4 and 8 minutes, depending on how much rough RNG you get. But hopefully you enjoyed, and maybe I'll see you at another marathon. Thank you for watching.